We are rolling.
Good morning. Welcome back to the conversation. This is Pointing Out the Obvious. This is our news and politics webcast, our daily take on what's buzzing today. I'm your host, Patrick Russell, and over there's my very opinionated producer, Veronica. Together, we're here to quip and quiver through today's headlines, searching for the real, no matter how deep in the swamp we need to go. Happy Manic Monday to you, Monday. Veronica. You know, I love it when I see somebody who's brown, because you know I'm down. Dave Aranda, a story out in LA Times. Currently, he's the head coach of the Baylor University football team, and as you know, my alma mater. My beloved USC Trojans recently fired their head coach, and I don't think their interim coach is going to really keep the job, so they're still looking for a better candidate, and I've got one based on a story that I read in the LA Times. This is a guy who's locally bred, born and raised, and then coached in Cal State Lutheran for one of the smaller programs before he got to LSU, won a national championship as their defensive coordinator, the head of their defense, and then he was wooed away by a nice contract over in Texas at Baylor University, where now he sits at 8-2.
Okay. And
just recently beat the number 8 team in the country, Oklahoma Sooners, a great rivalry game that he took. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But now he is Mexican-American, but that's not the reason why I think he's a great candidate. We're going to talk about how good of a tactician he is, how he can out-scheme the other side's coaches. And so what his style has always been cerebral and mental. And I love that because I think that if you mix his style with the athletic super studs that we have in California as a recruiting hotbed for high schoolers to come out and play football. I think if you mold those two forces together, I think USC is bound to have continued success that we haven't had since a man named Pete Carroll used to be the head coach of the USC. From a younger generation's perspective, Veronica, tell me, how cool do you think it would be? USC, located in South Central LA, but such an influential part of East LA. How cool would it be for USC to hire their first Mexican-American head coach?
I mean, that would be great. I think it's little by little we're making a change, and I think this will be a huge empowerment, and also hopefully young Latino kids look up to him and then decide to do something good.
I agree 100% with that. We're seeing it now in corporate America. We're seeing it in politics, and of course everywhere. Now in the sporting ranks, we're seeing how the minority presence, their experience and their expertise is now floating to the top when it is warranted. And in this particular case, I think the body of work that Dave Aranda has produced has shown that he's definitely ready for the big stage of USC. And I think it would just be wonderful for us to have that Mexican-American presence at such a flagpole university, and not just California, but the United States. And I'm going to tell you why I really like this guy. It's called Attention to Detail. This story went on to say that at the end of the game this weekend against their rival Oklahoma, there was a mix-up with the play clock. So much so that the kids who were excited that they beat their rival Oklahoma had already stormed the field, right? But there was still time left on the clock, and Baylor had a choice. They could essentially let the clock run out without running another play, or they could force the kids back in their seats and give them a chance to get some extra points on the board. And what did David Aranda do? Because he knew the rules of the tiebreaker, that the tiebreaker rule that's suggesting that there's a point differential, the more points you have could give you a better chance to win a tiebreaker for a championship. His knowledge of that rule forced the kids back into the stands so that he could get one play off, 3 points extra. It could be the difference of him being and his team being anointed champions. And I had to say that attention to detail, knowing the rules and understanding that if you outsmart the opponent, good things are going to happen. I think that's exactly what the USC football team and the USC family needs. Last point?
No, I mean, very smart decision at the end. And just to let you know, Patrick, his parents were immigrants, and they're from Guadalajara as well.
Oh,
so that's
there you
nice.
go.
That's nice
hey,
to know.
There's a nice representation of homeland Guadalajara.
Good for you.
Guys, there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but there definitely is your opinion. Please don't just subscribe to this channel, even though we will be doing this back and forth on a daily basis, but lend your voice to the show. It'll make it a whole lot more fun. Guys, it doesn't matter if you lean to the right. It doesn't matter if you lean to the left. As long as you're treating the person in front of you kindly, you just made the world a better place. Happy Manic Monday, everybody.